What's up? What's good, everybody? I am your boy Lee Black. I am the host not only of Real Talk for Real Men, but one of the principal voices of TFT Ratchet. And so it's been a little minute since I've chimed in with my opinions, but I wanted to pop in today to comment on the ongoing saga that is, of course, dealing with P. Diddy. And I was largely absent over the past couple of weeks because I was dealing with a family emergency, but that's neither here nor there. That doesn't mean that I wasn't watching from afar. That doesn't mean that I didn't have an opinion. That doesn't mean that I have not been watching all of the ratchetness that has been taking place. And what's going on? Jenny P from the blog. What's going on, baby girl? How you doing? And so I just want to chime in, of course, being the opinionated SOB that I am, and give my take on it. So before we get into it, let me just show a quick snippet. If you haven't already, I'm sure by now, Black Twitter gonna make sure we see all this shit. I'm sure you've seen P. Diddy's apology after CNN, as well as various other news outlets have broke the story. For God's goodness sake, this was on Good Morning America. So this shit made national news, of course. What's going on? That's my sister from another right there. Hannah, how you doing, baby? So let me share my screen. I'm only going to play 1 minute of this, but just to kind of give you a refresher and give us a jumping point that we can start from. Hopefully I won't have any internet issues. I'm just getting off work. But I want you just to kind of see where we're going to go from here. So P. Diddy, as it's saying, reflecting on the revelation that the allegations against him is violence, Cassie, appear to be true. Here is P. Diddy in his own words.
The darkest times in your life, sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Let her go. Okay, folks. Let's talk about this. In watching it in its entirety, every person is entitled to feel exactly however they want to feel about it. And they can be unapologetic about that feeling, to be honest with you. I don't think any of us is asking for anybody to not have an opinion. You have to be dead not to. And even just showing that snippet, the opinions are coming in. Jenny says, he must think we're all sheep. This was not his first or last time. He's only apologizing for seeing the tape. Not once did he mention Cassie. So you know what? You're exactly right, for sure, Jenny P. And of course, we could sit here and debate that part of it, and let me be clear, there are parts that's not even debatable. So I want to state right from the outset where I personally stand on it. His behavior was inexcusable. There is no justification for what he did, whether it was Cassie or anybody else. I talk a lot of shit, but I in no way advocate violence towards women in any way. Those who know me, I tell a famous incident that when I was 17 years old, I had a girlfriend, and at that time I was going to step out and I slapped her, and she slapped the shit out of me. That was the first and only time I ever hit a woman, and I found out really quickly that they hit back. I found out in that moment that I didn't like the feeling of being hit, so I never struck another woman again, never even thought about it. In fact, I've ended relationships where there was even the potential for violence, because it's just not in my nature. That's not who I am, and I don't believe in it. And I personally believe any man that hits a woman in the way he hit her is a coward. Having said that, anybody is deserving to be hit if they initiate it. I am not going to sit up here and hypocritically say that a man cannot hit a woman in defense. Now, what I saw on that video, that was inexcusable. But in 2024, we're not going to do that. That there is never a reason for a man to put his hands on a woman. If you put your hands on a man and you step out of line, then you probably are going to get what you're asking for. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to Diddy. So, Jenny, I agree with you in the sense that it was this state. We don't know. We don't know this man's heart. Did it seem disingenuous? Yeah, to me, it really did. I think the fact that now you have to speak on it, and you're talking about the darkest time of your life, and you sought help, this, that, and the other. We don't know if that's true or not, but it does smack of insensitivity and disingenuousness. The fact that you're coming forward only after you've gotten caught and talking about this incident. And so for that, sitting here as a viewer, I'm not buying that level of sincerity. I'm going to be honest with you. But that's not the big part of it for me. The truth of the matter is, I don't give a fuck about him or Cassie in a bigger scheme of things. What concerns me about this is the opinions that have come in, particularly from us. I'm talking about Black people. And this is where I wanted to come forward, and I wanted to issue a caution to be careful. And even the person who sent me this video, there were two comments in particular that I want to share because it has diametrically opposed views of this video. And that's where I want to go. One person says, narcissistic behavior on display and the PR campaign in full motion. Quite possibly accurate. If you're in his shoes and you're facing possible lawsuits and litigious things coming at you left and right, and your very freedom is at stake, who in a right mind wouldn't jump out and get in front of this and put on what could be a PR campaign? Maybe his attorneys are telling him, look, man, you gotta say something. You cannot sit pat on this and not say anything. Is it narcissistic behavior? Probably, but if you're telling me every time a man whoops a woman's ass, that's narcissistic, does that apply when a woman does some of the shit she do? I don't know. However you define it. So that could very well be true. Does he come across as a narcissist? Absolutely. Do I display sometimes narcissistic behavior? Absolutely. So, I mean, we're flawed individuals. Another point of view, someone says, and this is coming from a woman. That first opinion was from a man, ironically. This next opinion says, well, it takes a man to apologize. Okay, he got caught. What comes in the light is always in the dark. But he did say he was sorry. And who are we to judge him? We all have had bad days. We all hit rock bottom. So let it be. Hold on. It says we all hit rock. So let it be known that God forgives him. Who are we to judge? That opinion is also valid, because this is where I want to be careful. And watching the fallout from this, I saw Tigger go on camera and Diddy's through, 50 Cent is trolling him left and right. And like I said, this was even on Good Morning America. And it was mighty auspicious of me that whenever there's a Black man in trouble, Robin Roberts, some of the other shows, they're front and center, making sure that we see this. But when their counterparts, the white individuals, are in trouble, there is no story. It's amazing how when it's us, we're the ones spearheading the vitriol, the judgment, and we're the ones throwing him away. And for that, I have a problem. I like what Uncle Luke said when it's at the aftermath of this. He went on and check it out on YouTube. He talked about how he holds those around Diddy accountable. he talked about the fact that if you knew he was abusing her, the handlers, the managers, the assistants, where the fuck was you at? Because I always feel like if this incident happened in 2016, and so many people now are coming forward saying they knew about it and they knew he was a monster, he's a narcissist, he's always been this way, and the disgruntled people who work with him, oh my God, where the fuck was all of this truth at when it was happening? If this young lady, Cassie, was truly, truly a victim, then y'all have failed her even worse than what he did to him. Where the fuck was your help then? For what I want to know is if he was beating her ass 10 years, she stayed with him for over 10 years. Where was your father? Where was your uncles? Where was your brothers? Carl, you want me to believe that they didn't know you was getting your ass beat? Because if you didn't tell them, then you're just as part of the problem. And many women do that. I'm going to go there in a second. But all of you handlers, Mace, and all of you people that were a part of his world that knew intimately how he got down, not to mention the sycophants that partied with him, drank his liquor, ate his food, traveled with him on his yachts, that are coming forward and saying, how you knew he was this, that, and the other. Where the fuck was you at then? Because to me, you're even more responsible and complicit. So my vitriol is to you. I don't know if this man is sorry or not. And like that young lady says, I'm not here to judge. I learned a long time ago as I've gotten older that judging, I don't do. Not only is it hypocritical, because to P. Diddy's point, I've got some dark moments and dark days. There's things that follow me that I will never be able to live down, and things that who I am now, I'm not that person anymore. There's things that I've done 15, 10, 20 years ago that I would never do today. There was a point in my life when I didn't have a conscience about what I did and who I did it to. Now, upon reflection, if that shit was shown to me, I'd probably have to hang my head over some shit that I've done. Now, that's not to sit here and say that I've stomped out, because again, I just told you that's not in my nature. But I've certainly done some nasty, filthy, no good things to some people's daughters and shit that I wouldn't want done to my daughter or done to my mother or sister, but I did it. And that's who I was back then. Jenny, I want to get you a couple of comments in here where I want to make sure I appreciate you popping in, giving me your view. You said he had no choice but to respond. However, he has now opened himself up to additional scrutiny with his pending cases. Additionally, I don't know why she stayed as long as she did. On the other hand, as a married woman who has been in a domestic violence relationship, I've been guilty of staying too long as well. So I love you for being brutally honest and sharing that part of it, because I've lived long enough to see that play out in real time. I know people that have stayed in violent relationships and don't leave. They don't want to leave. In fact, when you have tried to step in, you become the enemy. And many of us know situations like that. Now, does that make the woman wrong? No. Whatever those reasons are, but it does make her complicit in the behavior. That's a fact. And so I don't want to further victimize Cassie, but I'm also not going to let her off the hook either that you're some blatantly innocent. Whatever your reasons for staying, the dick, the money, the fear, whatever that is, there is a certain amount of complicitness that you have to bear as well. Because I'm sorry, I am not a fan of Me Too. There's a reason why crimes have a statute of limitation. And in case you guys aren't wondering, they can't charge Diddy for this because this incident allegedly happened over 10 years ago. Statute of limitation ran out. There's a reason why under the law, there's a such thing as a statute of limitations. The only thing that doesn't have a statute of limitations is murder. Because in all truthfulness, if somebody breaks into my home and I know who it is, But I sit on that information and I wait for 5 years to decide, you know what? Now that shit chased me, so I want to file a complaint. Any normal person is going to be wondering, well, why did you wait for 5 years before you came forward when you knew who the criminal was? And so I have a problem with the whole Me Too movement in the sense that when these egregious acts are committed against you and you're violated in so many different ways, I get initial fear, but you want me to believe that being famous and rich and stepping out with him on all those occasions where cameras are blaring, that at no time did you ever get your courage up and nobody in your corner to say, speak out? There was a reason why you stayed. And I'll give you a limited amount of time where you might have stayed because of fear, or the dick was good, or the money was good. But there comes a point where when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years have gone by, you stayed because you wanted to be there. And now to be able to benefit from it, I have a problem with that. And now, since the video has been released, every heinous thing now he's guilty of, and I don't think that's fair. Because now it validates in some ways everything that has come out of her mouth. And I'm not a fan of that. I think two things can be true at the same time. I think he can be a narcissistic, coward, fucking violent fucker. And I also think she can be a lying, conniving, manipulative bitch. I believe both those things can be true at the same time. That's just me. How you doing, Carol? Good to see you, sweetheart. And so I'm not handing out any awards to anybody in this situation. And even for those commenting on it, be careful. You sycophants, you hypocrites. It's amazing how you're willing to throw stones when I'm going to call out a few people here. Tigger on record talking about how P. Diddy is done. What about the allegations that you got fucked in the ass? Superhead says that. Well, you didn't have much to say about that. Charlemagne the God, he has allegations against him. True? Untrue? What do you want to say? There's many people out there that have now want to speak up and act as if their shit don't stink and they're righteous and all of this. And usually the same people that partied with Diddy. It's amazing how the rats will scurry when the lights come on. I do agree with 50 Cent in the sense that it's awfully auspicious that Jay-Z, his fellow New York billionaire, is quiet as a fucking church mouse. Now, whether he's being told legally to stay away from this or whatever, but I will say this all the time. I damn sure don't need friends like them when you got people like that. You don't need enemies when you got friends like them, I meant to say. I would hope that if I'm in my darkest hours, I'm in my darkest moments, the people who know me best, even at my most worst, I hope that you still stand beside me and say, you're fucked up and you did some shitty things, but I still got your back. Because that's the kind of people I hope that I have surrounded myself with and that I call friends. What Diddy is discovering, unfortunately, is that money can't buy love, it can't buy friends, and then money, damn sure, don't make you any more than being black, because even with all your money, power, and fame, you're finding out at the end of the day, all that shit can be wiped away just like that. When they coming for you, they coming for you. I personally think he needs to jump ship and go to another country, but I also believe that maybe behind the scenes, he's been told that he can't leave. I also think that if this video came to light because it was seized by the government raiding your home, then you and your kids are fucking idiots that you wouldn't have destroyed any kind of electronic devices that would have anything on there. You big thief sons of bitches should have had more sense than that. But I don't know that it came from them. It could have come from Cassie. In either case, I just want us to all be careful. Take a step back for a second. Have your opinion if you want to. But don't be so quick to jump out there and throw a person all the way away, because I promise you, you got just as many fucked up people in your own families that you still invite to Thanksgiving dinner, that still babysit your kids, and we're going to sit and pretend that he's this monster that we've never seen. And that's just not true. Go to any black family reunion, right there out there doing an electric slide, it's men who are beating women. Men, all kinds of fucked up family members that do some of the worst shit in the world, and we still eat with them, drink with them, laugh with them. But some kind of way we make a little window. Well, that's what they do. So don't sit here now and act like he's the only most monstrous person. And then I despise the fact that sometimes us, black people, we don't need anybody else to tear us down because we do a damn good job of doing it ourselves. A house divided cannot stand. One thing you won't see other cultures doing is tearing themselves down. We do that better than anybody else. One thing about black people, we're going to ride us some fancy cars. We're going to flip flop and floss, and we're going to tear each other down. And that makes me sad. There is such a thing as Black Twitter, because the man who owns Twitter, he knows to keep that forum open, because it's almost like a blueprint for the others to watch us destroy ourselves and talk about each other and kill each other off. And so for my people out there, Diddy's done some fucked up shit, clearly. He's in a battle of his life for his freedom, his money, and everything else. But take a step back. Leave a little window open, if you will, because we are all subject to sin, mistakes, errors. We all have a past. Many of us have some serious skeletons in our closet. And before we step out there and act like we don't, grow the fuck up. So, P. Diddy, my brother, I wish you well. You're in my prayers, because, again, I hope you are serious. I hope you are getting help. But, again, I'm not one to sit here and throw dirt on you while you're down. Done some fucked up shit. You have to answer for it. That part is true. And at the end of the day, that's between you and God. Anyway, that's my opinion. I'm Lee Black. Have a good evening, everybody. I hope you tune in tonight to TFG Tonight with Brenton Haynes, where I will be on with the rest of the panel, and I'm sure we'll cover this and a whole lot more. I'm off to a good start for my week, and so get prepared, because I've got lots of shit to say about a lot of shit that's been going on. Last comment, Issachar says he has, and I agree, that it's people in our family that don't get judged. Like you said, we all have a past. Thank you, Issachar. I appreciate you, sweetheart, for popping in. So I hope to see you tonight on TFG Tonight with Brenton Haynes. He will be airing at, it's at 8 o'clock Central Time. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we're going to be talking about Trump and this and that and some more shit. And so I hope to see you there. Peace out.